Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and welcome back to Black American Lineage. Today we're going to talk about why teaching Black American history is so problematic for so many. On the screen, you see critical race theory. Critical race theory states that the interests of white Americans were advanced at the expense of others. Mainly those others are black people and the indigenous people that we call Indians. Why do you think that the words critical race theory and woke have become dirty words in the American discourse? These right-wing Republicans have so demonized critical race theory and woke that they have come to mean that you hate America and that you're teaching white children to hate themselves and to hate America. That's how frightened they are of teaching real American history. These are scare tactics. They're deflecting from the real issue of how America got started, who was involved, and who benefited from the American experience. They're trying to cloud the issue by playing defensively. They're putting everybody else on the defense. Now you gotta prove that you don't hate America, and you prove that by shutting up and not teaching Black Americans' role in the building of this empire. The governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has tried to build a presidential campaign on being anti-woke. His big slogan was, "Florida is where woke goes to die." All woke means is that you are aware of and concerned about social discrimination and injustice. And that is the thing that they don't want you to talk about, because they want to give the impression that America is the land of free for all, and it's really not true. So they accuse you of demonizing America if you point out anything that's done that's wrong, especially if you're not white. The problem is that so much of American history is based on lies. And we Black Americans don't even begin to understand how deep the lies go and how important it is for them to keep those lives alive so they can believe the lies to be a truth that they are not. For instance, now when I did the video about Bass Reeves being the Lone Ranger, I wish y'all would look in the comment section and see all of the negative comments that have come in from white Americans. One man even accused me of saying something just to get clicks and likes. That is not what I do on this channel. I don't make up lies about Black American history because I don't have to. Our history stands and speaks for itself. As a matter of fact, some of y'all have added information to the videos that I didn't include, which says that you already know the history yourself, so I don't have to go back and create a history that isn't true. He is the one that's been lied to, but he doesn't want to acknowledge it. They want to say that Black people are just going around trying to rewrite history. No, you wrote lies in the first place. And y'all know Black people will give away the history. Black people will give away their music, sell their rights to somebody else for peanuts. And the other person, usually a white company, will make a fortune off the money, and Black people will be back on the Chitlin circuit, working for peanuts. But the real reason that America doesn't want Black American history taught is because it will shatter the idea of this great American empire that white people built. They don't want the world to know that this country started out as an agricultural economy. That is what built this country. That's what got the country off the ground The original wealth of this country was built on sugarcane, rice, and most of all, cotton. Cotton was king, and even they said that. Before the Civil War, the wealth in America was in the South. Natchez, Mississippi had more millionaires than New York City, Boston, or Philadelphia. It was literally the wealth of the country. And that wealth was built on the backs of enslaved people. And it started there. But they weren't just building wealth, picking cotton. They were building. And I have done several series on the iconic buildings that the enslaved people built. But it wasn't just those buildings. It was all the others too. It was literally built by the enslaved people. The country was. And then we've already talked about the inventions. The enslaved people were inventing. Many of the inventions were things that made the labor easier to manage. They say necessity is the mother of invention. So they needed things and they needed to do things fast. So as they learned the mechanism of how things worked, they were able to invent right along with what they were doing. So they had to build the economy, they had to tend the livestock, and they had to grow the food. So all of the responsibility was really on the enslaved people. Now what the white people did have was gunpowder. Gunpowder was used to subdue the indigenous people and the African people who were enslaved. And all of this was done because of the budding military industry that America has become. That started during the slave system with those the police department that the enslaved people called the patty rollers. That began in slavery, and it built and built and built on itself until now we have this great military complex. We have this highly industrialized society. We have one of the largest economies in the world. And for it to be this young, America is not even 300 years old. All those other countries have been around for centuries. America has not. But America shot ahead of them because they had a whole race of people working here for free. Not dumb people, very smart, industrious, and ingenious people. So America was at an advantage because they had one group of people, the white people, who were very good at organization and order and systems. They knew how to put systems in place. And the enslaved people knew how to invent, how to build, how to create. So it was really two groups of people who had very good qualities that came together to build this empire. Unfortunately, one group of people doesn't want to give the other group of people any credit. And that's where the problem comes in. And that is why they don't want Black American history taught. They don't want the idea of what America is to be shattered by the truth. They want the world to continue to think that they did all of this. I heard a Somali woman on a podcast arguing with, I think it was Tariq Nasheed or somebody like that white people built this country. And that's what they want people to believe. And she was very adamant about it. She sounded as much like somebody in the Ku Klux Klan as anybody you will ever hear, except somebody in the Ku Klux Klan. And this is a refugee from Somalia. She believes the propaganda. And that is what America wants. They want people to believe the propaganda, the facade of what America is. And that is the unfortunate part of America. Because if the world knows the truth, it's going to change their perception of America. Now, in real time, the world is seeing a contradiction when you think about America always thinking of itself as being better than everybody else. And I'm talking about white Americans. So when the world sees Simone Biles or Venus and Serena Williams and now Coco Gauff, then the world has to stop and blink and realize that what they have been led to believe may not be true. And then when they look at the entirety of Black American culture, which is America's #1 export, because America sort of lost its place in the exporting department, because when it comes to cars, you go to Japan or Germany or France, and then when it comes to appliances, you go to China or Japan or Indonesia or wherever people are going now. America's products just aren't the #1 seller. So what's left? Black American culture. When you come down to the inventions, and we have to keep bringing that up, because when you think about inventions, now you're thinking about people that are really smart. Now, what if the world knew that the electric light bulb was really invented by a black man named Lewis Latimer? What if they knew that the traffic light and the gas mask were invented by a black man named Garrett Morgan? What if they knew, and we don't talk about it, that the cell phone was invented by a black American named Jesse Eugene Russell? What if they knew that the GPS system was invented by a black American named Gladys West? See, when you start talking about stuff like this, then that says, wait a minute now, wait just a minute. America doesn't want the world to question her greatness. So really, the black people who do outstanding things get folded into Americans. They become Americans. Now, I want to talk about the GPS system. Every time I mention that Dr. Gladys West invented the GPS system, I get a lot of pushback telling me that it was somebody else. Now, the GPS system, the original concept of a global positioning system, began with the United States military, but they did not have the technology. They knew they wanted to have a system to pinpoint where everybody and everything is on Earth, and many people worked on the project. But it was Gladys West that came up with the technology. She invented something called the satellite geodesy. The satellite geodesy measures the size and shape of the Earth and the location of its objects. Now, there's a lot of long scientific terms to go with it, but that's the gist of it. She has written about what she did. She had it written, copywritten, and published to protect her intellectual property. So America does have the world thinking something about us, but it's not positive. But if they came with the history of black Americans that would be positive, then that would make America look like, well, look phony, fraudulent. And that is why they really don't want our history taught. That's why it's so problematic, because for so many things that America claims to stand for, they would have to take a white face out of it and put a black face on it. And that is what America does not want to do. So anyway, on this channel, we're going to keep talking about the history because that's what's important. But anyway, y'all, thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.